What's going on? So, I am not Tank, I am not Void Lulls, I am not Even Star, but I play a decent amount of vampire counts, and I feel like I can talk about the subject okay with some people disagreeing but about some things, but I think the core concept will be appreciated. So we're going to talk about dragons versus Terrorgeists, when to take which mount, and why. There will be a little summary at the end, so if you really just want like the Photoshop version of what's good and bad about each, you can skip to that, or you can watch the little presentation we set up. So, right away, looking at their crowd clearing, neither is very good, but the dragon has better charge animations, better splash attacks, you can see right away. And the Terrorgheist does this dumb animation very often when dealing with infantry. It'll pick up one infantry model and shake it in the air, and while that looks cool, that's not very effective and it wastes a lot of time instead of doing splash attacks. But neither is very good at clearing out infantry in melee, but I did want to point out that dumb animation from Terrorgheist, making them extra bad at clearing out infantry. When trying to avoid knights on the ground, both perform about the same. They have the same speed, but I've noticed the Terrorgheist is a little more slippery. You've seen it's taken less damage, and it does have self-regen, which we will get to. But it has a smaller unit model, smaller hitbox, usually making it a little easier to get away from knights and that kind of thing, while dragons can be a little slower, a little more cumbersome on the ground, and easier to get blocked up, because with unit mass, if there's like one stone troll, in the example of like greenskins, in front of Manfred somewhere, he'll get stopped up and can't get in the sky, and he has more mass, like more physical body, meaning there's more chance for something to get in his way, while the Terrorgeists are smaller, and they're a little more slippery and harder to keep penned in. What are we looking at next? Oh yeah, straight up breath attacks. Straight up breath attacks on a unit of infantry. Peasant mobs are really spread out, but you can still see that the dragon's breath attack does about twice the damage than the Terrorgeists. Dragon breath attacks in general are way more versatile against cavalry, against crowds. They do okay against single entities, while Terrorgeists are pretty much only for massive blobs or single entities. Their breath attacks don't do nearly as much. They also do magic damage, whereas the dragon's breath attack does not do magic damage. Here looking at charge animations, I noticed the Terrorgeist doesn't really have one. After it lands, it just starts to waddle, and that can be really problematic. You see how easily the Fey Enchantress is able to dodge that, while the dragon seems to have a much more consistent charge animation when it's landing, and it even I don't get to do it here, but usually it'll do this extra like jump and leap that can really help it pursue a fleeing target. You see how much more damage you did there. So I've found in a lot of playing that like Terrorgeists feel like they just bump into things, while dragons really charge them. Now I think I forget what I'm trying to show here. I'll remember in a second, but I think I'm trying to group up these peasants so that I can get a more clustered breath attack and show that one. Now this has been a lot of the dragon's positives and not a lot of the Terrorgeist positives yet. The Terrorgeist positives are that it has regen, it has poison, it's a much better duelist character, while dragons are much better at cycle charging. But Terrorgeist, if you put it in combat with the Fey Enchantress and just leave it, it'll do a lot better than a traditional dragon character. Well, dragons really want to charge in and charge out. Terrorgeists are much more assassins. They kind of want to stay somewhere. You see, even clustered up, that peasant mob takes barely any damage from the Terrorgeist's breath attack. Even its breath attack is more like an assassin-type tool. Whereas, if I can get Manfred back in the sky, you will see his breath attack. Sure, it's at a slightly better angle, but you can see it does way more damage to groups of infantry and or cavalry. Just a more generalist tool. You can see again he does that dumb animation where he picks up one peasant and eats it. Animation looks cool, but meh. In sustained combat, Terrorgeists are going to be better. They have, while dragons have that big charge animation that can get them out of trouble, it can also get them into trouble when they're trying to duel one target. They can jump over the target and jump into, I don't know, Knights of the Realm. While the Terrorgeist will just sit and fight what you want it to fight. It has bonus versus large. It has, good armor piercing value, so it is a much better stay and fight duelist character. I think the last thing I was gonna show here, oh yeah, it's just how they survivability of each dragon. Terrorgeists with their smaller models, when they get surrounded, they take a lot less attacks. Whereas this one's not even surrounding Manfred, and you'll see the health trades are going to be about the same here. Even with a half surround over there and a full surround on this side. They're just smaller models, easier for them to get away. And they're very slippery. That self-regen is helping a lot. Manfred even has more melee attack and he's taking more damage just because his dragon model is so huge. And you can see here when I give an order for it to get out, it's kind of pushing through these knights anyway, slipping away. Then I just cast it for fun, Wind of Death, and that sums that up nicely. Quick overview at the very end. Dragon on the left, Terrorgheist on the right. More versatile breath attacks for the dragon, better charge animations, and they're badass. But they are a big target. They are slow on the ground, and they have low staying power. On the other side, Terrorgheists are assassin characters. They're very slippery, hard to keep down, good sustained combat, poison regen. They have dumb, stupid animations, inconsistent charges that you can't really count on to get after a fleeing character, and their breath attack is much less versatile. All right, bye.